He had long green moss growing on his back and waved in the water when he'd swim. He had notches all along from his head to his tail where the motor of a boat dug in. He had half a dozen hooks hanging from his lips, all rusted, busted, and bent. He had one big bloodshot eye on the right and the left side nothing but a dent. Now I'm a pretty good fisherman, but plain old Joe, he's great. He knows all there is to know about boats, bass, and bait. He'll catch more on just one cast than most men catch all day. To plain old Joe, there ain't no such thing as the one that got away. Now plain old Joe's from Texas, where everything comes big, where the bass are mean as rattlesnakes and outweigh most any pig. You can't catch a smallmouth if it's largemouth bait you use. Them bass, they ain't just big and mean, but they all got high IQs. Now up the Lake Texana, there lives a striper. His name is Jake. Everyone down in Texas knows he's the biggest fish in the lake. He's never been caught, but he's been seen by all the local pros, swimming around the bass boats, thumbing his big bass nose. He had long green moss growing on his back and it waved in the water when he swam. He had notches all along from his head to his tail where the motor of his boat dug in. He had half a dozen hooks hanging from his lips, all rusted, busted, and bent. One big bloodshot eye on the right and the left side nothing but a dent. Well, plain old Joe was on the lake around sunrise, 6th of June. In his box he had just one lure, a spinner with a silver spoon. He had just one rod and just one reel and just one great big lake. Today's the day, I heard him say, I'm gonna boat that fish named Jake. He cruised out to Russ's Cove and he headed down the lake to the dam. Just beyond old Walker's Point, he said, Jake, here I am. He shut the outboard motor down and he took out that silver lure. He tied it to some heavy line and he cast out strong and sure. Now I've known Joe for 40 years, maybe even more. But when that fish hit, his blue eyes lit like I've never seen before. That line went tight and the pole went bent and that drag began to spin. There was smoke rolling out the back of his reel when his line jerked to an end. Then the fish began to tow the boat so fast it left a wake. Joe said, I'm gonna beat this bass if my back and my line don't break. As he zoomed off across the lake, he said, you can tell my wife I've been home every night for 29 years, but I won't be home tonight. Well, after 40 days of fighting, that fish could barely swim. After 20 more days of playing tug and war, Joe started reeling in. After 10 more days of reeling, Joe was eye to eye with Jake. He said, tell me now, you water sow, who's the baddest in this lake? Then Jake spit out that silver lure right back in old Joe's face. Started dancing on his tail like a theme park whale, splashing water all over the place. Well, Joe ripped off his hat and his shoes and he said, hooks be damned. Forget that rod, forget that reel, I'm gonna get this fish by hand. With that, old Joe jumped into the lake and he swam out to that fish. He grabbed his tail, but Jake shook loose with one big mighty swish. Then Jake grabbed Joe by his sleeve and he drug him down below. The water did boil and bubble and blither, didn't see him for an hour or so. Then up they shot like a water spout, about 100 feet in the air. They were flipping and spinning, flapping and slapping, scales flying every which where. They thrash and splash till the sun starts setting, then when the water finally stills, here comes old Joe, swimming lifeguard style, hauling Jake in by the gills. And he was singing to him. You got long green moss growing on your back and it waves in the water when you swim. Notches all along from your head to the tail where the motor of a boat dug in. You got hooks in your lips and a bloodshot eye. Hey Jake, it wasn't your day. 'Cause to plain old Joe, there ain't no such thing as one that got away.